We are barely 10 days into 2023 and the foreign buyers ban has just kicked in within the Canadian real estate market. And of course, where I work, mainly Toronto and the greater Toronto area in Southern Ontario, this foreign buyers ban is going to be potentially most felt. And in a previous video, I covered everything that you need to know about the Canadian foreign buyers ban, going through the legislation, the wording, the exemptions, and so much more. But in today's video, I'm going to give you more as to why I believe that the Canadian foreign buyers ban will be an ineffective measure. So let's get to it. Hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtor on Realtor Inc. As always, back with another video for you guys here today. You can find my contact information in the description box and on the screen. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On this channel, we like to discuss all things Toronto/GTA real estate market oriented, ranging from market stats, market trends, market facts, buyer advice, seller advice, news coverage, building reviews, tenancy laws, and so much more. So if you find this content enjoyable, please subscribe, or if you have any further questions with regards to the Toronto/GTA real estate market, feel free to get in touch with me with the contact information provided. Anyways, enough of all that. Let's get to the point of today's video, which is the Canadian foreign buyers ban and why I believe it will be an ineffective measure. And it's actually deeper than it just simply being an ineffective measure. However, if you're uninitiated with what the Canadian foreign buyers ban is, I made a previous video which I said off the top of the video you can find, but quickly put, it is a temporary ban of the duration of 2 years placed upon those who are residential real estate purchasers who are not either a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident. Previously, they were subject to a 15 to 20% tax. Now, for a duration of 2 years, they are subject to an outright ban. And for more, once again, check out the previous video or feel free to do your own research. But in today's video, I want to more focus on my opinion, why I believe it will not be an effective measure. And I'm going to argue it's ineffective on two fronts, which can be summarized as the following. And these two fronts can be summarized in the following sentence. The Canadian foreign buyers ban is a weak measure to a non-issue. What does that mean? Well, it means that the measure itself does not actually address the issues it assumes it's going to address, because the measure itself has a lot of loopholes, a couple of which I will cover in today's video. And even furthermore, the issue itself is non-existent. Hence why, once again, I will restate, it is a weak measure with a lot of loopholes for a non-issue. So let's start with the measure first. I will tell you why I believe it has a lot of loopholes. Then I will tell you why I believe the foreign buyers phenomena is a overrated and overstated issue. So there are many exemptions with the foreign buyers ban, but one I would like to cover in today's video, which any foreign buyer, which obviously do exist, there are a certain degree of foreign buyers involved with the Canadian real estate market, can easily utilize to get over the foreign buyers ban. Now, I'm not advocating for this position or the strategy. I'm just telling you the ways in which some people employ this loophole. And it's actually the very same strategy that was employed towards the preceding tax. Now, that has become a ban, but the very same strategy that worked for the tax works for the foreign buyers ban, which is simply purchasing a property through a relative or a friend that is a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident. Now, usually in practice, how this goes down is the foreign purchaser, in this case, who is not a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, binds a private contractual agreement through a lawyer with a relative, in essence protecting their interests. And through that binding and private contractual agreement, other words known as a trust agreement, provides the capital for the purchase, whether it's a cash purchase or a significant down payment. And it is then the resident here, whether a permanent resident or a Canadian citizen who is a relative or a trusted individual, bound by that private contractual agreement, that makes the purchase using the foreign capital. So this is just a very, very simple and frankly, somewhat commonplace loophole that was used against the tax and is going to be frankly used towards the foreign buyers ban. And here we already have seen the hints of what I want to discuss further, which is foreign capital being a differing issue than the foreign buyers. That's right, we have to differentiate foreign capital and the foreign buyer category. And let's focus on the second half of the argument here, which is that not only, as I have established through one clear loophole, is the foreign buyers ban a weak measure, but it doesn't actually address a issue. The issue it purports to address is a overrated issue. It's actually not that significant on housing prices insofar as my opinion is. Because when we actually look at the percentage that foreign buyers make up of the total buyer base, according to studies, some studies range it as low as 3.5%, and other studies that we can find that purport numbers to be higher than 3.5% cap the foreign buyer base at around 5%. Now, these are obviously people who have gone through the proper ways as a foreign buyer to purchase a property, not going through these loopholes that I aforementioned. Thus, to be fair and consistent, we have to account for the loopholes, obviously, right? Because I can't just in one hand tell you that there are clear and obvious loopholes that will be used for foreign buyers and then only report on the numbers of foreign buyers who have not used the loophole. Thus, if we're to extend that 5% a bit further to account for foreign buyers who are purchasing through relatives or loved ones here, at most, the percentage of buyers who are most likely foreign buyers, now accounting for those who use the loopholes, will extend past 5% to maybe 9-10% at most. And that's being very, very generous, to be honest with you. The point here is, even if they represent 9% of the buyer base, it is not foreign speculation from foreign buyers that have caused housing prices to reach all-time highs within the Canadian real estate market. More so domestic speculation. Domestic speculation meaning individuals who live here, who are Canadian citizens or permanent residents. Thus, they are Canadians like all of us who are buyers of residential real estate for investment purposes. And oftentimes, I would say in half the cases, the capital derived for those purchases is foreign capital, but they're not foreign buyers, they're domestic buyers. So this is why I think there needs to be a separation of the foreign buyer issue from the foreign capital issue. Foreign buyers are a totally different category and not a conjoined category with foreign capital, because there are a lot of lifelong Canadian citizens who are now in their 30s and 40s, yet get to take advantage of maybe some properties they have back home and use that capital to purchase investment real estate in the city of Toronto, in the greater Toronto area, in Ontario, in Canada. So at the sake of sounding redundant, I believe the issue, more than being a foreign buyers issue, which foreign buyers properly only account for 3.5 to 5%. Even if we want to account for those who use loopholes, we can extend it all the way to 8 to 9%. Instead of that 8 to 9% of the population being the issue, I believe it's the larger population. It is the domestic investor. It is the Canadian investor who either never use foreign capital, are wealthy just based on domestic capital, or in a fair portion of times do end up using foreign capital because there exists a lot of Canadian citizens who weren't born here or maybe are first generation at best. And that means they still do have access to foreign capital along with their domestic capital as well. So I hope this video was clear and concise in that it conveys to you why I believe the foreign buyers ban within the Canadian real estate market is a weak measure with a lot of loopholes, one of which I went through in today's video. There are other loopholes as well, like spousal loopholes, so feel free to watch my previous video for that. And also why, although it is a weak measure, it addresses a overrated problem that is not as ubiquitous as the actual problem that people should focus on, which is more so foreign capital as opposed to foreign buyer. As always, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realty on Realty Inc. Today's video was a different type of video. Usually I just go through market facts, market trends, don't really give too much of my own professional opinion about these things. If I do, it's more so on the market trends and market facts of this. So I appreciate you guys having the patience and watching today's video. Thank you very much. Stay safe and stay tuned. Thank you.